you ever have the fear that the psychosis will come back?
The one thing a lot of people carry, and they carry a lot of.
I'd say even about myself was, I was always a good kid. I just got lost somewhere along the way.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 6 of Having a Chat with Peter and Sophia. Today we are joined by an amazing young man, an inspiration, motivational young man. His name is Gareth McGuirk and he is from Dublin. And he has a page on Instagram and TikTok called Find Motivation With Gareth. I came across this cool dude from a comment on another person that I follow on Instagram. I popped onto his page and I just loved what he was doing. I saw what he was at. I loved his motivation. I loved his inspiration. I loved his energy. And from there we connected. And I am delighted to say we have him here on our couch having a chat with Peter and Sophia. Without further ado, Gareth McGuirk.
How's it going, people? Gareth here from Find Motivation with Gareth, and today I'm down here with Peter and Sophia to take part in that podcast, having the chats.
And we are delighted to have you.
Welcome, Gareth. Thank you for taking the journey and coming down to stay here with us today.
Oh, it was a long trip, alright.
Yeah?
But it was worth it now, I have to say, it was worth it.
Have you enjoyed your stay so far?
Ah, yeah, top tier. Hand rolled towels and everything.
Yeah, that's Sophia. That's not me. That's definitely our dude.
I was wondering whose idea it was for the hand roll towels. When I saying that, Andy on suite, I said, thank God we didn't book a hotel. We're at to getting one here.
But the cold shower, you had to have a cold shower though.
Yeah,
that was Peter's
Did you
fault.
enjoy the cold shower?
That was the universe, that was, you know. I knocked on the shower and I said, it's a little bit warm, right, lovely, jump in. And then it just got very, very cold very quickly. And by the time I was getting out, it was... But I felt happier then after, I have to say, I did it.
Dopamine here, didn't it?
Oh, I was delighted with life this morning after getting out of the shower.
Well, you're lucky Sophia was here because if it was up to me, you wouldn't have had a towel. So,
And the window was left open, so it would have been chattering in the room.
can't blame us for that. Like that's your fault. That's nothing to do with me.
That's Amy's doing all right.
So, can I ask you why have you done this page? Why are you doing what you're doing? Right? Why is this? What is Find Motivation with Gareth? Where did it come from?
Well, you see, I've always wanted to do social media ever since I was growing up. You can catch clips of me as a kid if you search in my name on YouTube of me just doing stupid little videos as a kid. And I liked the whole social media thing. But then when I was smoking the weed and all every day, like I'd laugh at people that were doing that type of thing, and I'd say, no, that wouldn't be for me, because I was in my comfortable bed that I was in. But then when I got out of that and started being a social user, then I found like a motivation to, you only get one life, so you might as well live it well, you know what I mean?
So can I ask you, right, you said something there, a social user. Can I ask you, what's cannabis social use to you?
Well, that'd be probably having the odd spliff once every week or once every 2 weeks. Then, like, hopefully there'll be times where it'll be once a month then, you know what I mean? Like, but at the minute it's once a week to once every 2 weeks.
Right. And is your an aim? What is your aim? Is there an end goal to maybe, like, as he says, at once a month? Or?
Well, eventually I'd like to be able to knock it on the head completely, but I don't say it at this age. I think people in my age group, you see, the grass is the drug of our era, where alcohol was the last generation's drug, which it is a drug. People think because you buy it out of a shop, it's all well and good. There's many countries around the world that you buy weed out of a shop, and it'd be better than over here, but it's still a drug at the same time, do you know what I mean? Like, as much as it might be cleaner over there because it's all regulated and stuff like that, we don't have that here, so we don't actually know what we're getting. I remember there was a night I got a bag of weed, and I tell you, this was not weed. I was just zombified. It was like nothing that I've ever took before. It was, I don't know, it felt what I'd say it was synthetic THC being sprayed on it, because it was an over the top stone. It was like a brown town stone, you know. It was like shutting your eyes, goofing off stone, if you know what I mean.
Do you think it's difficult for people of your generation, for your age group, to live a sober life, to live a life without substance?
I think it's more down to how you grow up and where you grow up. So when you grow up in the likes of Finglas, Ballymun, Coolock, everybody around you is taking drugs. a lot of people have a lot of problems in them areas, and that could be caused from trauma or anything like that. And it's hard then for them to get out of the loop that they're in, because say you're out with 10 of your friends, probably 6 or 7 of you are smoking joints, 6 or 7 of you are probably sniffing coke. Do you know what I mean? So there could be only 2 or 3 in the group that don't do it. Like I have a friend who wouldn't touch drugs at all. He'd be a very good friend of mine, and like that, I stopped palling around with him for a few years when I was going down a bad road, because I didn't want it to affect him then. Do you know what I mean? But now today he's one of my best friends. He comes, does all the videos with me, does all the camera work for me and all. He's a great lad, he is. Shout out to Mario.
Go on, Mario. Beautiful. I love that. Go on.
I just picked up on one thing there, which is, it shows the dangers of it. You're on about that bag of weed you got. Like, it's, when you're out in the streets and you're buying stuff, you have to take what people are telling you at face value what it is, but that's not always the case. Like, what I'm trying to say is to like warn people that it's not always what you think it's going to be when you buy something. It can be dangerous, like.
Well, you see, the boys that are doing the likes of that, they're not worried about you when you go home. Do you know what I mean? They're just worried about getting the money up to pay whoever they're at getting the drugs off. And they don't care. Even if they get it, they might not even use that themselves, and they'll get it and they'll have to sell it because it's had to be ordered and it has to be paid for. You know that yourself, Peter, from previous experiences, that it doesn't matter how danced on something is or how bad quality it is, it has to be sold once it's ordered.
There has to be movement on it. There's a bill to be paid. That's unfortunately how it is, and that's how a cycle can happen.
Like, personally myself, I was never really into selling drugs. That didn't appetise me, selling 50 bags. I was always out looking for people that take, say, an ounce or something like that, and just have 5 or 10 people that you'd sell your ounces to. But God never wanted me to sell drugs, ever. He never gave me the punters that I was looking for at all. It wasn't destined for me.
Did you become your own best customer?
Oh, I did, yeah. No, I used to work a job where I was getting paid monthly, and I'd be getting a bit of weight off a fella, and then eventually I got to a point where I was saying, oh, would you throw us this till next week? And it'd be no bother. And then half my paycheck would be going on it, and then the other half would be buying more. So it was like, I never had a penny when I worked in that job.
Endless cycle.
That was when I started going down a bad road. That's when the psychosis started happening to me. So what happened was I had an altercation with a fella, and that kicked off my psychosis. Now this fella, they'd be a good friend of mine today. Like, there was no need for any of it. But when you're taking that much drugs, your brain is just overworking itself to death. And I thought that this falling out would have been very bad for me, and it was never like that. It was just my own head getting into my own head, playing tricks on myself. So what happened was I had to go down the country. Last time I was actually in the west of Ireland, was going through a psychosis. I was only telling you that yesterday when I got picked up from the train station. And like that, I went to stay with an individual, and I was going off the head in the gaff. I thought that the local takeaway was trying to fucking poison me. I thought that there was people running through the bushes. At one point I was standing out on the road with fireworks, lighting up the road because I thought people were running through the bushes. Then at the time we were breeding dogs, and someone came to buy a pup off me. And what happened was I ended up going out talking to your man. And now this could have been nothing, but I still, even to this day, I believe that stuff that were happening, that psychosis, were real. And what happened was, your man put his hands behind his back, just like that, say. And with that, my brain went into an overload. I thought your man was going to shoot me. And there was no need for it, because I was never actually involved in high-level criminality, if you know what I mean. I was never into it. So I ended up going back into the house, going around and lying on the ground with a compound bow, thinking that your man was going to start shooting at me. And I was hiding down in a bush, ready to take your man's head off. Like, I could have ended up in prison for years over something like that if I didn't just relax myself in that moment. I could have very well shot him with that bow that day.
So just to make this clear, right, to anyone who's listening, anyone who's watching, that's from cannabis use.
Yeah.
That's from nothing else
100%.
other than cannabis use, other than what you bought on the street.
And I wouldn't say over drinking, but I'd say Another psychotic episode that happened to me one night when I tried to kill myself was from the gargle.
That other episode you're speaking about, that's from cannabis use. That's from weed you bought on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's showing you what's coming in off the street, like.
Yeah, but you see what happened was then I was going through psychotic episodes for months after that happened. So one night then I went out having a drink with my family. And what happened was I started drinking spirits, and I can't drink spirits. And what happened was I came home that night and I went off the head. I don't even remember what it was. I do actually. It was because I asked my brother, could I have the vodka? And he wouldn't give it to me because I was well oiled at this point. And with that, I went off the head, tried to stab my brother, I went downstairs then and I was starting on everybody in the house. And with that, I cut my hand like that. And that finger there actually doesn't go straight now over it. So what happened then was the armed response unit had to come down to the house because the family rang the ambulance for me. And when there's a knife involved in an incident, the old bill have to come before the ambulance does. So the ambulance won't come until the guard have been there and make sure that it's safe for the paramedics to come in. But when they came in, it was like it all turned on them then. So I wasn't fighting with myself anymore. I was fighting with the old bill. And I'd never had a good experience with the old bill. But see, that night, I have to give it to them. They could have shot me dead that night and they didn't. So shout out to the old bill for that one.
I love it. Shout out to the old bill. Jeez, you're 19 years of age, Gareth, and it sounds like just in those little clips that you've shared with us, that sounds traumatic. It sounds like there's a lot of emotion, a lot of challenge, a lot of trying to figure out is this what's real, what's not real. That sounds difficult. Man.
But that's only the start of it, Peter.
Okay.
That's only the start of it. So what happened was, when I was about 9 years of age, the family got involved in an incident and we ended up losing the family home, and it got very heavy in the area. So what happened was, my father and my mother at the time, when they were together, they decided the best thing for us to do would just be to move out. So we moved out of that house and moved down to my nanny's, and then everything started going on at home, family life, that was getting on top. So my mother and father split up, and then my father wasn't there to chastise me. So I was running riot on my mark, doing whatever I wanted. The likes of not going to school. Now, I was never a bad kid in school, but I was always the class clown. I was always there to make everybody laugh. Now, a lot of my teachers would still talk to me to this day, but like that, I got a text off one of my teachers, and he said to me, I'm glad to see what you're doing, because I was very worried about you. Very, very worried about me, because I was living in a dream world. I thought that, you could just leave school and that's that. Now, I spent probably the last 4 or 5 years catching up on that, going to the likes of Ballark, CTC. Then I left that because it wasn't for me, and I went working full time. And what happened was, I've been working so long in the job that I got into college due to experience. So I'm back on track now, and I'm at the start of my apprenticeship in butchering. So I'm looking forward to where that takes me.
Yeah, well done.
You're really inspiring, Gareth. You are, like, because coming from like where you came from with all the psychosis and stuff like that, and you were at a tender age in life where you're unsure of what life holds anyway, but having that psychosis on top of that, it must have been like a really, really hard path to navigate, being unsure of who you are, what you are, and what the world actually is around you. Yeah.
Well, you see, a lot of the times that I was going through these psychotic episodes, the only people that I was taking it out on was the likes of my family. So one day, I went through one of them, and it was between me and the brother. You see, it normally gets down to me and the brother, because he's the type that he put it up to me if I'm putting it up to him. Do you know what I mean? Because we're brothers. And with that, one day, I came down the stairs with a baseball bat, and I thought he was standing at the other side of the door, and I went to put the baseball bat through the door. And I did. And what happened was, the door was a double glazed window. So it only went through one glaze, thank God, because the person standing at the other side of the door wasn't my brother, it was my ma. And I went out into the front garden then and started swinging the bat around. And I nearly lost a leg because my ma's dog was out in the garden. And the dog blade latched onto me bottom, she did. And I legged it up the road. I tell you, I've never been faster than a dog, but it was that day. I legged it, I did. And then with that day, I was running around for ages, because they were trying to look for me because they were worried about me. But I thought they were looking for me to give out to me, or fucking I don't know,
Out to
just,
get you.
yeah, out to get me then. And I was like hiding under cars. I was watching me dad's wheels off his van drive past me, stuff like that. And I was hiding under under cars, under vans and all. Like, I could have been crushed that day. Do you know what I mean?
Just as you, sorry, go on ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
Just as you says, like, you could have been crushed that day. We had a giggle there, right? You talked about running faster than a dog, right? We had a giggle. The three of us sitting here on this couch, we come from chaos. We come from trauma. We come from that madness. There's going to be people watching this and listening to this, right, that don't see that is, right? That became normal for us. And from what you're describing, that way of life became very normal. Like, we can have a laugh about it. Is there ever times where you're kind of on your own and you're sitting down and you really connect with it and think, wow, that could have turned out really different?
Well, there's many a times that I sit to myself and I'm very grateful that a lot of people in my family talk to me, because realistically they shouldn't, after the things that I put them through. And that was down to me and my doings. But at the time, I was blaming everybody else for my problems. And that just wasn't right. Like, the night that I had the knife, my outlet actually came in. And now my outlet, he would never lay a finger on me. But that night he did. He had to give me a dig in the mouth that night to get the knife off me. And with that, I picked up a samurai sword. And only my finger cut the tendon in my finger. The sword just flopped out of my hand. But I could have very well stabbed him that night. With the mindset that I was going through and the things that I was going through. Like, I spent, I think it was 14 days in the Mater hospital after that. And then they sent me to sassy drug recovery, like talking to, what's it called when you talk? Yeah, therapy. Now, that just did not work for me. Because I wasn't giving the grass up at the time for myself. I was doing it for everybody else. Yeah. So that probably lasted about 8 months, and that was just pure sober. No alcohol, no grass, nothing like that. So with that, then I went back to smoking the weed, but it was more controlled. It was like, I was down to having just 2 every day. Okay. And then up until probably 3 or 4 months ago, then I knocked it on the head and became a sociable user. Now, a lot of people will sit there and say there's no such thing as a sociable user, but I'm here to prove to people that you can. Right. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all about the brain. The brain is it's the hardest working muscle in the body. And if like, I know it's not going to suit everybody, but if it does suit you and it works for you, do that. Because I've never been happier than I am now. When I was sober, I was miserable. When I was smoking it every day, I was miserable. Now I'm the happiest I've been in over 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you think that's to do with the weed, or do you think that's to do with your newfound mindset, with your new way of looking at life?
I'd say it's a bit of both, like, because I like having the odd spliff here and there. And I enjoy it a lot more now because I'm not abusing it. Where when I was abusing it, I was getting nothing out of it. Where now it's like, I do it if I'm at the achieving something. If I'm at the achieving a goal, I'll have the odd joint or something like that. I don't just have a joint to have a joint. And now it's a lot different setting, where there was race home from work, have a joint. Where now it's sit down, watch a movie, get a load of sweets, have a joint and relax. And it's like, it's a whole different setting now than what it was.
So for you, it's almost like after, now I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. There's lots of people who would use going to the pub, having a drink,
have a glass of wine,
crack open a bottle of wine, a glass of wine. I know myself in people in my own life who'd have a glass of wine or 2 with their dinner. Like, would you see like your cannabis use, your weed smoking as something similar or even less than that?
I'd say it'd be less than that. It's more so like, say I'm after having a smashing week and I'm after doing a lot, and say something on social media is booming, I'll sit down, I'll have a joint, I'll look at that, I'll say, lovely, I'm after accomplishing something. So now I'm motivated to do stuff, where before it was like, go to work, come home, that's good enough for me. Where now it's go to work, come home, get as much things as I can done from 6 o'clock to say 12 o'clock, go to bed, and then wake up the next day fresh. Like, at one point, it was getting to a point where I was going to lose my job because I was coming in half asleep and stuff like that. And the boss had to have a chat with me. And I think that was a big turning point in me. Like, because I always liked to think that one day it'd just be, say, a Saturday thing where I never had a reason to do it. But when it comes down to losing your job and losing all the hard work that you're after putting in, you turn around and you say, is it really worth it? Because I don't want to be smoking that when I'm 30 years of age and have kids of my own. Like, a lot of people that sit there and smoke weed will say, oh, it's not a drug. Well, hold on a minute. If it's not a drug, why don't you give your 10-year-old a joint? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
That's powerful. So what you've just...
Clip that.
What you've just described, right? So for the likes of us, I can't do what you do, okay?
No,
yeah. I can't do what you do because you're able to say, right, that's enough. I personally, I can't. No. But again, that's to do with the life I've led and the life Sophia's led. I don't have stop switches. I don't have a stop switch. I've gone so past that point that there's no stop switch there anymore, right? It's so for me,
one leads to another.
Yeah. So for me, I class it as a traumatic brain injury, an acquired brain injury. I've done so much damage to my brain over the years that my brain knows no different now. It just can't shut off. And there is ways to reprogram that, but to be honest, for me, I'm very happy in life. I don't need the use. But like you've just described, for people who say there's no such thing as social cannabis use, you've just described exactly how there is. So you've just described there for us that the difference between going and keeping going or not going. So in addiction, right? When I was in addiction, if and when I was working at different times, if my boss came to me and says, look, this is what's happening, and had a chat with me and says, you're going to lose all the hard work you put in, that wouldn't have made a difference to me.
No.
I wouldn't have bothered. The negative results would have just kept on going. For you, with the sociable use, you were able to look at it and go, hold on a minute, I'm going to lose everything. That's powerful, Gareth.
Well, you see, another thing is, my page isn't really for people that use Class A drugs.
Okay.
So, if somebody's using Class A drugs all the time, I don't know enough about it to help them people. So the only thing that I would suggest them people to do is to go on the sober, because I don't feel that people that take Class A drugs every day can be sociable users. Yeah. My page is more for people that are suffering with alcohol and cannabis.
Okay, so your experience?
My experience, because I can't really talk on that now. People might think, oh, Gareth goes home and he has a rosy life. That's not how it is. I go home to a house where my uncle still smokes cannabis every day in that house and uses benzo tablets and abuses the methadone maintenance. So I see what addiction does do to people. I would never suggest to my uncle, if he wanted to get sober, I would never suggest sociable use to him. He'd have to be either all in or not in at all, because it wouldn't work for somebody like that. Do you know what I mean? And it wouldn't work for many people that take Class A drugs. Now, there could be the odd handful that it might work for, but I would never suggest it to somebody that does. I'd suggest that they go to rehab clinics or get onto people like yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a whole different... It's not the same drug at all. You have a joint, you still know what you're doing. You go off your head on Class A substances, there's a fine line between knowing what you're doing and not having a clue where you're going then. Like, you could seriously fuck yourself up or someone else up using drugs like coke, crack, heroin. I believe there's a drug out there called, what's the name of it? It's a new drug out. It's in Dublin at the minute. A lot of the homeless lads are using it.
What's the meth? Spice?
No, the
Fentanyl?
Fentanyl,
stuff like that. That's dangerous stuff. People that are taking that haven't got a clue. Where I've seen the likes of the documentaries, that's gonna fuck up a lot of people when it gets over here properly, because people in Ireland don't know how to say no. Especially the likes of the lads in town that are strung out on the heavy drugs. Like, and as well, there's boys in town that are strung out on heavy drugs, and then there's the likes of all the young lads who can't get out of the life of selling the heavy drugs because they're in it too deep into it, and they don't have the help there. Our government doesn't help people like that. They don't give a rat's about us. Do you know what I mean? Like, our government will never set up something to help the young lads that are actually selling the drugs stop selling the drugs, because they don't care about people like that.
I heard you say something before, that they're trapped in the trap.
Trapped in the trap, yeah.
That's powerful. It. What does that mean to people who don't understand? Like, I understand now. Explain to people what trapped in the trap means, because that's a very powerful sentence.
A friend of mine said it to me one day, and that was basically, he was in the life of selling drugs. Now, selling drugs was never my thing, so I wouldn't know much about it. So I'm talking from experiences from friends of mine, and he told me one day that he was trapped in the trap. And I said, well, explain it to me. He was saying, I can't tell this person that I'm doing this for. No, I have to do it. And I'm trapped in the trap life. Because that's what people call it down in Dublin. It's trapping, it's grafting, it's, do you know what I mean? So like, they can't, it's easy to get into, but it's not very easy to get back out of.
And on about Class A drugs, would you, like your age group, like you're a similar age to my nephew and stuff like that, and it's worrying when you see all the drug use that is around, and drugs are so easily got now. Like you can go on Snapchat and you can order drugs to your front door and stuff. Like when we were younger, there was nothing like that. But like Class A drugs, would you know a lot of people around your age group that do Class A drugs? Is it a big thing, Class A drugs? And
Massive. You can't, if you walk into a pub in Dublin compared to down here, it's 1 in 10 probably down here, where in Dublin, is it bad down here, is it?
I had a bouncer tell me that if he stopped all the cocaine going into the pub, the publican would have no customers.
Yeah, no, that's. I heard a story before from a fella. He was in the pub and the bar manager was in the toilet, and my friend was washing his hands at the time, and the fella who was walking in the bar turned around to him and he said, "There's more cocaine in here than there is in Colombia."
Yeah.
Like a lot of people can't go out and have one without the other.
Yeah,
that's the way I would have been personally.
I'd have been the same
Yeah.
and worse. So I'm gonna ask you something. Feel free not to answer, right? So with all that going on, okay, and everything that you're seeing, and your age group, and you're navigating all this at your age, right? With all that you're seeing out there, and you're doing amazing. You're doing all your motivation.
You're really inspiring.
You're bringing such positive attention to subjects and topics that need to be talked about, that people aren't talking about, especially at your age, right? And you're doing all this work, and you said something earlier that really hit home, and I heard you say it to me last night, and it really hit home with me. That people think you're going home to all roses and bells and whistles and all the rest of it, but you're not. You're going home to a tricky situation.
Yeah.
How difficult is that for you? How difficult is that for you on your journey, navigating, going home to that?
It's difficult and it's not difficult. I love my family to death, and there's 7 of us in a 2-bedroom house, and the person who I share the bedroom with is my uncle. Now, recently, the only thing that's had to having to change was I've had to ask him just to go out the back when he's having a joint. I don't mind leaving him rolling it in the house, because that's actually helping me say no in the future. It's just the smell of it that gets me. Like, I could walk down the road and I could smell somebody smoking a joint, and then it's in my head, but it'd be gone. Where if that's in the house, it's sticking to it's sticking to the smell is sticking to the things in the house, and it's not going as easy as walking down the road, walking past somebody. Do you know what I mean? So you walk past somebody, it's gone. Where if it's in the house, it's smoking in the house, like I would have smoked in the house, and it clings to things, and then it's very hard to get the smell out of the house then. So like, one day I walked into the house and I'd know that he was after having a joint in the house, and that just clicked with me then. And I had to turn around and just walk straight back out of the house, because it was getting to me.
And that's your home. Just to put this into context, that's your home.
Yeah. I have a tricky situation at home. It wouldn't be the best, but I wouldn't change it either, because I wouldn't be the person who I am today if I didn't grow up having the life that I did have. Like, there was an individual who was, let's say, he was part of the family, and that was very tricky for us, because he was also addicted to cannabis and addicted to codeine tablets, and there was a lot of trouble caused in the house, a lot of trouble, and that would have been the start of heavy usage for me. Got to do with grass, so I was seeing everybody else around me smoking it, so I just thought, I'm just going to be like everybody else, do you know what I mean? And what happened was, I started off taking bits of grass on this fella, and then we got into growing it, and that was where like my fascination for it kicked off, because it was like, it's not as easy as just putting a seed into a plant pot. Like, it's down to pH, it's down to temperature, it's down to airflow, making sure that the airflow is strong enough for the plants to be moving so that they're growing in strength, stuff like that. And I was satisfied. I was very satisfied about it.
Yeah.
And
We're achieving something.
that's where it I was fascinated with it. So that's where it really started. And at the time, I would have only been for smoking grass. I wouldn't have took any other substances. Where now I'd have the odd dawdling other things very, very, very occasionally. Do you know what I mean? Like,
How are you finding navigating that? Is it difficult for you?
No,
With everything around you?
it is and it isn't. Like, I wouldn't like to get into a loop of using them types of substances every day. And my page helps me with that a lot, because I have people out there that I'm helping. Like, I have a lot of people contacting me, and I'm not going to get into it because I keep everything confidential.
Yeah.
100%.
So I have a lot of people that I know I'm helping. But for every one person that texts me, I'm reaching 10, 15, 20 people that don't have the gut yet to reach out and contact me.
Yeah, but they can see what you're doing. So
Exactly,
they're
they can
watching you.
they can see it,
Your
they can
views
watch.
are going up by the day.
Yeah,
There's definitely people watching you.
I went to bed one day with 4K views. I woke up the next day with 34K. You
How
know.
did that make you feel? From
Oh, I was delighted with life. That's my best video that I'm after having so far. It's up to 44K now, probably 45. You know, and that's very motivational for me, because I like the way that it's at the just jumping overnight, like 44,000 people. That's a lot of people, and if you can help 100 of them people, that's a big achievement.
It's a big achievement.
So, like, right, this is cool, right? Because there's a lot of addiction around social media, right? There's a lot of external gratification from the likes, the shares, and all that stuff around social media. But from what I hear from you, it's nothing to do with the likes. It's nothing to do with like what's going on. It's nothing to do with the external. It's to do with how many people
It's
you're
reached.
helping. How many people it's reached.
I like getting good views, I like getting good likes, and I like getting the likes of reposts and stuff like that, because that's just spreading awareness for what's to come. Like, I do a series at the minute called 3 Questions and the Questions, where both yous were on.
Yeah, it was cool.
And that's only the start of it. That's just my takeoff point. So eventually 3 Questions and the Questions will come to an end, and that's when I'll have me following, and that's when the real awareness will start kicking off, where I'll start thinking about probably arranging maybe days out for people, family days out for
Get-togethers.
get-togethers. Yeah, a community. Yeah, you see, Find Motivation with Gareth is a community. It's not just for me or for my own benefit or to make money off. That was never the plan.
So you've probably spent way more money on this page than you've ever made anything off.
Definitely, 100%, 100%. I put a lot of money into it, and I put a lot of time and effort into it.
And love.
But I love doing it.
Yeah.
I love the thought that I could be helping somebody. You see, like, and as well, you get your odd video that won't get the views or the likes or stuff like that, and that doesn't bother me, where that bothers a lot of people. Now, I'd rather my videos doing well, but if my goal for every video is, if I get 1,000 views, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Once it's not under 1,000 views, I don't mind.
So why the 1,000 views? Just out of curiosity, why the 1,000 views?
I don't know. It's just
Does it make you feel like you're reaching more, like you're helping more people?
it's more so down to looking professional, because I want to eventually. I'd like to get very professional with social media, because I'll be going down other aspects down the line. Maybe even a podcast that I could get you on.
Watch this space.
It's all just time, effort, and learning. You see, every day is a learning day as well. Like, people don't realise that every day you learn something new.
Man, you've been with us for like a day and a bit now, and I've learned so much from you alone, like so much. And away from all that, I've watched you, like, you're such an intelligent young man.
Oh, you're
like,
so smart. We actually had this conversation last night. I said, Peter, like, Gareth is such a cool kid. Like, he's, like, you really are. You're just, like, you're so intelligent. You're so smart. You're well-spoken. And, like, you show a lot of love. Like, you have a lovely aura around you. You've got a beautiful energy.
Beautiful energy.
Well, that's another thing I'm after learning a lot about as well since I came down here, was the likes of the bufo and the cabu, is it? Cambo. That's something that I'll be looking into when I go home, because I tell you, I'm very intrigued in that.
But that's it, like, you take stuff in. Like, I've had conversations with other young lads, right? And you may as well be talking to a wall because there's like flicking
Just
away.
goes in that area and out the next.
They have no interest. They have no interest. With you're like, tell me more.
Like
tell me more.
You sat with us last night and watched our
hours.
Cambo experience even, like, and I was watching it. You didn't take your eyes off the screen. You were very, like, asking questions, like, what did this feel like? What did that feel like?
I was asking a lot of questions that just couldn't even answer yourselves, like, because I was getting very into it. Shout out to your man that does that. I'll give you a text.
Cambo would call him.
But I tell you, that's something that I'm at the end very intrigued into, because I'd like to see where that could take me, because I don't know enough about it, and the only way that you'll know about it is if you go and try it. Now I could go and try it and it might not be for me, but you'll never know unless you try it. You see, I was in a very comfortable bed every day smoking grass. That's what I call it, just a comfortable bed. Now it doesn't actually mean lying in bed, but a lot of the time I would have been lying in bed, but it's not down to that. It's more so down, it's a metaphor for it. So I was in a comfortable bed where now I say there ain't no response in this game.
I love that.
And that's because we don't get a take two. As much as people believe in the soul and stuff like that and past lives, in this life that I'm in right now, if I die tomorrow, I'm not going to respawn like I'm in Grand Theft Auto or Black Ops, do you know what I mean? So I just want to try as much things as possible, so then I feel like I've fulfilled something in life. Yeah. Like, I've said this to a few people. Say, for instance, tragedy happened. I die tomorrow. I die a happy man now compared to what I was, because I feel like I'm at accomplishing something. And I'm not even that out there compared to people that are out there, but eventually I will be. But even from where I am now to where I was, I feel like I'm at accomplishing many a thing.
Oh man, you have. I've seen it. I've watched it.
It's so emotional, yeah.
I've been following your journey, right? So just on that, do you think too many lads and girls, like too many adolescents, too many people your age live like there's a respawn? Do you think they think there's a respawn?
There's no value for life anymore, Peter. No value for life whatsoever. More so in countries like America. Like,
in your experience, or what you've seen growing up, do you think, like, what you've seen in like the areas you've grown up and the people you've been around, do you think like there's no value there? They think there's going to be a respawn. They don't even think about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of lads, good friends of mine even, that jump on a bike, 400-500cc, no helmet on, and they'd be wheeling the bike up and down the road, and you're like, man, you're gonna die if you come off that bike. Do you know what I mean? And they don't take that into consideration. It's the adrenaline rush that they get from it. Like, I have no problem with bikes. I've many a time been out on bikes myself, but at least wear a bloody helmet, man. Do you know what I mean? But you see, for a long time, and I'm not too sure about this, so don't hold me to it, but for a long time, there's a rule in Ireland where if a lad goes out on a bike with no helmet on, he can't be rammed off the bike.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
But it's a catch-22. Yeah.
Look, it's an urban thing that I even grew up knowing, right? We used to do it. We used to be on bikes without helmets. It was in Scotland, it'd be the same as well. But like, again, when I was living like that, I had no value for life. And that's what you're seeing out there.
Well, you see, at the same time, it's a catch-22, because lads are going out on these bikes with no helmets on, and if that young fella wraps that bike around a pole, say, for instance, he's at to killing himself. He's at to doing the job for the old bill. The old bill don't have to ram you anymore, because you're going to do it to yourself, and nobody will be held accountable for it except for you. Do you know what I mean? And it's sad, like it is.
And these young lads that are going out on these bikes and involved in the trap and involved in everything, like, I know, like, I've been around it. 80-90% of them are good young lads, like. Yeah. They just have nowhere to put that energy. You see, do you see that?
What I'd say even about myself was, I was always a good kid. I just got lost somewhere along the way.
Where do you think you got lost?
It's in and around leaving school.
What do you think happened?
Down to the situation at home, I'd say it would have been, you know, it was very hard on the head and stuff like that. You know, so that's when the psychosis and all came, was after I'd done a big grow with an individual. That's when the paranoia started to come and stuff like that. And I thought I was this fucking gangster that real gangsters would laugh at. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was
Cardboard gangster, as they call
exactly. That's that clip that.
And
it. I
anytime,
lived it.
anytime, like say now you smoke a joint or whatever, do you ever have the fear that the psychosis will come back?
No, not now.
Why?
Because I know that I'm in control of the drug and the drug's not in control of me.
Okay, and like explain that.
So it's a hard one to explain, but
Just talk it out.
yeah. So when I have the odd joint, it's planned. It's not just one day have a joint. It's like I'd have to be going doing something, say, or like for instance, me and my girlfriend watching a movie, load of sweets, stuff like that.
Shout out, your girlfriend is cool.
Savage, isn't she?
I think
She's edgy.
He's like,
Yeah.
I've got on so well with the two. I think she's dead. You just had to do that. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, she's a legend. No, she is, and a big part of me changing my way would have been for her as well, because I wanted to give her the life that she deserves. Because she's done an awful lot for me, I have to say. Shout going out to Amy.
Love it. Sure, I love
You're
that.
so cute. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's like it's powerful. Just you as like a young lad, man. You're such an old soul in such a young body. Like it's just.
That's it, you see, I had to grow up very quickly.
Yeah, I get it.
So when I was, say, 9, 10 years of age, I had to have the mind of an 18, 19-year-old. So now I feel like I'm in my 30s, I do. Do you know what I mean? Like, then there was times that me and my family, like, we were homeless and we were sleeping in cars, me and my brother. And as much as they were bad situations, I wouldn't ever want to change them, because a lot of good memories came from stuff like that. Like, a memory that sticks out very fondly in my head would have been sleeping on Rush Beach down in Dublin, me and the brother in the Ford Mondeo, and we had the seats pulled down at the back, so we were cushy, we were well looked after. Like, we had the iPad going, and we went around to the local Chinese, got a big munchie box. We made the best out of a bad situation, do you know what I mean?
How have you got such a positive growth mindset?
Just because for so many years it's just been negativity, and I haven't got the time of day for negativity anymore. I really haven't. I've no time for it. Even negative people, I don't like really having them around me for long periods of time. Like a lot of people that sit around you, and you could be doing a world of good in everybody's eyes, and they'll find that one thing to pick out of what you're doing and put that down to the ground just because they're miserable in their own lives. Do you know what I mean? And like, I do say, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. So if somebody's very negative, if you can help them so much, but they have to help themselves to get out of that negative life that they're in.
Same with everything and a change, isn't it? Yeah, anyone, like, until you decide to help yourself.
Yeah, it's not going to change. It really isn't, because the way it is, a lot of people don't want to put the work in. A lot of people look for quick fixes, and if they want something and it doesn't change tomorrow, they give up straight away and they blame everybody else around them. You know, you have to put the work. You have to look inside to fix yourself.
People think that fixing yourself is something that's going to come overnight. Even today, like, I have bad days still,
Of course.
but everybody has bad days. Do you know what I mean?
We deal with them, isn't it?
It's how you deal with them and how you deal with the days after that matter.
Right.
Because a bad day can't always just be a bad day. It can turn into a bad week or a bad month.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
How
Like,
do you deal with a bad day?
so if I have a bad day, I normally text my girlfriend, because I'm always happy when I'm with my girlfriend. I don't think we've ever had a proper argument. Like, we're the same person. We're just two different fonts.
I love that.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Different, just same energy, isn't it? Just
That's it.
and you are like when you're together, it's just like
You couldn't imagine Gareth without Amy.
no,
like,
it is.
you know,
you're
it's
like,
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, I have to say, she's done an awful lot for me.
Do you think that's been a huge catalyst to your change, a huge part? of it?
Yeah. Totally. I'd still be smoking grass today if I didn't bump into Amy.
Right.
I'd still be lying in that same bed. 100%.
Comfortable place.
100%.
You really embrace the uncomfortableness, even down to that cold shower this morning. Like, you're genuinely, you walk the walk. You're not someone who's online saying, oh, guys, do this, oh, guys, do that, and then come off and just, like, spark up joints and get stoned out. You're not.
There's no point
You
in
do
lying
what
to
you
people.
say you do. I've seen it.
There's no point in lying to people.
No,
Okay.
you lose
You
respect.
lie to people and you will be picked apart, especially in the world of social media. You will be picked to shreds. Like, say even if I am having the odd joint, I'd never go out and have a joint, because there's always people out there that could get the odd picture of you and that can ruin you in an instant. Like, I have under 1,000 followers on both my pages, and I still worry about stuff like that. Even when I go out to have the odd gargle here or there, I don't think I've been actually drunk since I started my page. Now, I did. I had 1 or 2 days that I did get drunk, but like that, it was more so in the comfort of my house when I went home and had a few more gargles, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be out in a pub where I'd get out of my face, because that'll only come back to bite you, especially in the world of social media.
Have you found, right, I know I'm hitting a load of questions, sorry, I'm just so intrigued. Like.
Don't worry, I have questions for you.
Oh, right, okay. Have you found, like, the better you're doing, the better your mindset, the more positive you are, the more upbeat you are, the more change you're bringing and the more lives you're changing? Have you found that you've had that bit more people trying to drag you back down?
That's a good question. No.
Wow, okay.
I think since I started my social media, I think I've probably got less than 10 hate comments.
Okay.
Now, there is people that like to put a snarly comment on it, but it's not a hate comment. It's just people that are miserable in their own lives. And one day, if they want to reach out under their own account, I wouldn't hold a grudge against them people. You see, a lot of people that throw a hate comment up, their username will be user63529 or something fucking stupid, you know what I mean? It'd never be John fucking...
There's not a real account.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's always going to be somebody that's on an account that's plainly just for scrolling.
Yeah, for trolling and scrolling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just want to ask one thing. Where did you come up with the ideas of 3 questions in a question?
You see, I see a lot of people doing the likes of the fucking their own series. So like, you have the likes of Get Better with Chris. He does 5K with Chris. Then you have the likes of the Back to Class podcast. They do class questions. So then I said to myself, well, what am I gonna do for a series? So I says, well, what's my account about? So my account is about bad experience that I was having. So then I thought of the question, what's the worst experience you've had in life? Then the name came into play, Find Motivation with Gareth. What motivated you to do what you're doing today? And then the last question was a question that you mostly hear in the likes of school and that's, where would you like to be in 5 or 10 years' time? So I said, I'll go for that. And then asking me a question was a way of spreading awareness to people, because you never know what question you're going to get.
Well, it's mad though, because a lot of the time it's the same question, isn't it?
A lot of the time it's the same question, yeah, it is now. Like, even now, not that I want people to be scripted, I've tried to say, stay away from the questions that have been asked already, change it up a bit, you know what I mean? Like, because them answers are already out there now.
But it does just show that everyone's thinking the same thing, like, where did this come from? Like what motivated you to do this? Where did everyone's got that, like, wow, this is amazing, but like, who's Gareth and where did this all come from? Like, why is Gareth doing this?
Yeah, you see, a lot of people that like would follow my account and all, like, be people that know me personally, and they'd know the type of person that I was, and they're like, Gareth's after doing a 360 real quick, what's the story?
180, right?
Yeah, 180, yeah.
People said this to me, they said, Peter, you've done a 360. And I was like, I've not done a 360. If I did a 360, I'd be right back where I started. Right. Did a 180. Yeah. Completely changed it, but I'm still going.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
You can have it for free, right? But if you get fit, or when you get famous,
Copyright.
I copyright the shit out of that, right? So yeah, that's mine.
Gareth, is there anything, like, if there's any lads your age, girls, whatever, and they're struggling, say, with psychosis or anything like that, is there any advice that you could give them? Like, how will I ask this? Say, for example, if you didn't have that experience where the guards and the ambulance and all that came to pick you up, is there anything else that you think that's out there for the younger people to reach out to where they can get help and support?
Well, if someone's going through a psychosis, they need a big support network. So you can always reach out to me, but I'm not a doctor. And I'm not going to be at fault of anybody doing anything stupid. So I'll have a very basic chat with you, and I'll tell you what I done to overcome my psychosis, and you can take from that what you want. I'm not there to help people with mental problems. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. So I don't want to be the fault of putting anybody wrong. What I'd say to someone that's going through a psychosis would be, do not use substances for as long as you need to. You will know when or if you can ever take substances again. Some people can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people that go through, like, I went through a very mild psychosis compared to a psychosis that some people can go through.
Yeah.
And I came out very well after it, where not many people do. You see, psychosis, you have, what I think, well, from my experience, I had the main psychosis. And then after, for weeks, I'd have probably an episode once a week. And that could have went on for probably up to a year.
Right.
Well, no, it would have went on for about 8 months. And then I started having the odd joint again. And that's kind of when it all stopped, because I was in a happy place at the time. Now, I'm not saying that's going to work for everybody, but that worked for me.
Everyone's individual.
Everybody has a different mind.
Yeah, like, so I suffered psychosis, and like, I didn't stop using substances, and I was very delusional. My mindset, my reality and what was happening in my mind was so far from connected. I lived in a very delusional, unrealistic world where my idea of what was happening around me wasn't actually happening at all. It was completely, I was so disassociated from myself and from life.
I have a question for you now.
Okay. No. See you later. Go on.
Do you still believe that some things that happened to you, that you are visioning in that psychosis, do you still believe today that some of them things were real?
I don't know, right? So here's the thing, because I've had multiple psychoses. So I had a lot of crack abuse in my life. And with the crack abuse, I used to smoke cannabis. And cannabis and cocaine mixed together create psychosis. It creates psychosis, right? I do talks. I walk. I go around to different schools and colleges, and I talk about this because people don't understand it. Because unfortunately in Ireland today, those who sell cannabis sell cocaine. It's just how it is. It's the drugs that come together, right? It's just how it is. And people who's like sniffing coke will smoke weed to come back down. Yeah. They don't understand. That actually is the worst thing you could do to yourself.
Yeah, because you're stressing out your heart as well, aren't
it's
you?
Everything. It's your chemicals, your endorphins, your mind, everything. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of neuroscience to it.
Red Bull.
Yeah. So like there's a neuroscientist who I'm hopefully going to talk to about stuff like this, and we'll see. You know who you are. So how to put it right? So today I have flashbacks, I have memories, and as I said to Sophia there one of the weeks, sometimes I can't differentiate from what is real and what is made up, and what I suffered through psychosis, what actually really happened to me in life, what I thought happened to me, what did happen to me. This far on, 3 and a bit years in, and 5 years from my last psychosis, 4 years from my last psychosis, I still can't differentiate what was actually reality, what was reality and what wasn't.
That's
so
the same
I
with
just
myself.
so I just have to let that go, and I have to understand that was then, and thankfully and luckily and for the work I've put in, it's never going to happen again. Yeah. And I have to just hold on to that. I never have to experience that again, but I understand what you're talking about. I've experienced it. So yeah, at times I can't differentiate even now. So like, even if you can't differentiate, like, don't hold on to it.
You see, I wouldn't think of a lot of things from my psychosis now. I'd be the same as yourself. I had to let that go because that would have been one of the main things that was starting other psychotic episodes, was arguments with people about what I felt was real and what they were telling me wasn't real. But they weren't going through what I was going through. Like, I thought the postman was a hitman. I thought a teacher out of my school, who I'm very, very close friends with, was a hitman. Stuff like that. Like, and
that felt really very real to you.
Oh, 100%.
So what would you say to someone who's trying to support a person in psychosis?
That's very hard. I'd say just don't give up on them.
Wow. Okay.
Because a lot of people give up on you and think he's too far gone. He's going to splats. He needs to go and get help. Where sometimes people can get that help just at home, or down to even probably just going to the hospital for a few days for a little relax or something like that, you know. Yeah, just a reset. Like, when I was going through psychosis, a big thing that I'd caused trouble with my family over would have been saying that I was sick. Like, my mum would have said to people, Gareth's sick, where I didn't feel sick. Sick was physically getting sick. Do you know what I mean? But it is a sickness.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. And I only sit back and think about today that it is a sickness, where I was causing trouble with my mum and stuff like that because she was telling people that I was sick. And I felt like that was kind of telling everybody my business and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Where people would have been seeing it and hearing it, especially people from around the area. I've had a lot of altercations out on the street with family, neighbours, stuff like that, because I was never over the top, but like, I'd never let someone, when I felt I was being walked on, that wasn't happening for people. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't let people think that they walked on me. Exactly. Like, I had an altercation one day on the road with the neighbour, and he came out with, say, do you ever see a spade that a kid would bring to the beach?
Yeah.
He came out waving one of them around, and I'm blessed, because I picked up a big, huge, like what you'd imagine you'd see in a movie, a grave digger shovel, like that, very long, probably bigger than myself standing up, and I was swinging it around the place. If I had hit him, I could have killed him stone dead. Do you know what I mean? Like,
It's just a split second, like.
you're not thinking.
No.
Like, you're in a mind of your own, you're in a rage, you're feeling adrenaline, stuff like that. You don't, like, you're going off on one.
Do you ever have moments like that today?
I haven't in a very long time. The only thing that I'd cause trouble over now would be somebody threatening me family or something like that. I'm a very family orientated person.
Protector.
Exactly. Like, I'd never go looking for trouble, but if trouble comes to me, I'll be the first person to finish it.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that today, thank God.
Because like that as well, you only find trouble when you go causing trouble.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go causing trouble on anybody. Like, even sitting on the podcast, I'm using words like individual, because I'm not looking for beef or trouble from it. Do you know what I mean? It's just my story and what I've went through. Do you know what I mean?
And that's healthy, because it shows you have healthy boundaries.
But it also shows you respect.
Yeah. There's a lot of young people that wouldn't.
People that I've had altercations with have their own problems. Like, they have their own addictions and stuff like that. And I wouldn't wish any bad on anybody. I hope that they're all doing well, even if they have brought trouble to my life and trauma to my life. I don't hate anybody.
Because you understand what it is.
I understand it now, where people out of my family would have hatred against these people, where I wouldn't, because I've walked that walk and I know what it's like, and I know how bad it can get for people. Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's very understanding, it's beautiful.
It really is.
Yeah, like it really is. But like, to have that, the growth in that is powerful. When we hold hatred and when we hold resentment, we're holding a poison to ourselves. It doesn't do us any good at all.
no, it doesn't.
No.
It's you asked me that question earlier on in the kitchen, and I thought it was so beautiful and powerful of you to ask me, would I ever forgive my father? And I said to you, I already have. You didn't seem like, what? How could you forgive him? It's kind of like you understood what I meant, that forgiveness when you dislike someone or you hate someone, it just hurts yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to forgive but not forget.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like you said that to me earlier on. You can forgive, but you don't have to forget, and you don't have to have these people in your life anymore. But if you're holding hatred against people, that's only going to affect you.
You're
Do you know what I
having them
mean?
people in your life by hating them. because
Exactly. It's in your mind every day.
As people say, they're living rent-free in your head.
Like, that's what I do say to people that are having situations with people, and they be sitting there and they be having a chat with you about these people, and I turn around to them and say, well, do you think that that person is sitting at home having the same chat about you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So true, though,
Because
isn't it?
it's not even like that half the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It happened. It's over with. Forget about it. Where it sticks with some people for a long time. Like, do you know what I mean?
Wow.
It's like you're very lucky with social media and stuff that you don't get any of the bad engagement and stuff like that. But like for your age group, and even for our age group, any age group, social media,
Yourself, I'm only a young fella.
social media can be extremely toxic. Like if you jump on board, like, do you know many people that have been affected by social media in any way?
Well, I wouldn't say I know them personally, but like your man Gareth, yeah, that's been in the media lately. Like he shut down all his social media. I believe he actually has them back up and running now, but like he was somebody that was flying. But like that social media, and you'd see it with the likes of your man, the protein bar fella. He said one thing, and that's at the fucking his whole. He's not in the loop no more, and he probably never will be.
What's it been like growing up in an era of social media? I know when we grew up, right? When I can only speak for myself here. When I grew up,
There was payphones.
There was payphones, right? We tell people like, "Oh, I'll ring at 6." If I grew up in your era, like, so if we had camera phones when I was growing up, I'd still be in prison, right? I'd probably never be getting released. What's it like growing up when all eyes are on you? You can't fart sideways without someone.
It's like being in a prison with no walls around you with the way.
Going through TikTok and all that, a lot of the lads that are living the heavy life, they are putting every part of their criminality up on social media, and they are only going to end up fucking themselves up because they're basically ranting on themselves. Like, back in your day, it was find the rat. Now it's people ranting on themselves.
So what's it like growing up around all that? Is it difficult?
It's very easy to be sucked into. Like, I know a lot of people that have went down the wrong road in life, and I know a lot of people that haven't. And it's more of I think it's down to how you grow up, on how you're going to turn out. And a lot of the time it's down to who you surround yourself with.